So
We're done touching your
yeah,
screen.
Giants is disgusting. Cowboys is disgusting. But I no, all jokes aside, I will say this though. I mean, obviously they made a good choice with Malik Neighbors. I didn't think Jones looked bad. I think the offensive line for New York is actually looking pretty decent this year,
Yeah, it's
which
not
is a
looking
big
as
concern.
bad as it was in years
Not looking
past.
as bad, but I do think, unfortunately, I think Dayball will be fired after this year because you need a scapegoat for this shit. You need a scapegoat for paying, Daniel Jones all that money and, really nothing coming out of it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
So
feel you, bro.
somebody
Like
got to be the
that's
scapegoat.
yeah, and we've seen this with Giants teams in the past. Like we've seen them bring in a guy like Odell, and then they fail to put the talent around him. Like they failed to put the talent around Saquon, and then these players aren't getting the run they deserve, and they aren't getting the tenure in that offense or defense if they have a good defensive player. They aren't getting the tenure they deserve in the prime years of their career because the Giants can never keep stable coaching. They can never keep stable offensive lines and surrounding casts.
Right.
So that's why that's why the Giants have been bad for quite a while now. Um, and I agree. I think they're going to end up using Dayball as a scapegoat. But in terms of the game, you know, the Cowboys defense is looking terrible this
Yeah,
season. I don't
everybody could run on them right now. Everybody's running on
everybody,
them. Yeah,
anyone, like I could run on them and my grandma could too. Like
pretty much running on them right now. So
Malik Neighbors had the nastiest freaking route I've ever seen. Did you see on the one he had on Andrew Booth where
yeah, that
he
was crazy.
absolutely touched earth? I was like, okay, bro. I was like, whoa now.
No,
That
I
was
like
something
neighbors. I
else.
like neighbors, man. But all right,
Love Neighbors too. But
let's
now
get to the business.
we can get to our Sunday games and officially beginning our picks of the week. So, Bengals visiting the greatest team on planet Earth, the Carolina Panthers.
What's the spread on?
The spread,
What is it?
we got a live line. Uh,
Hold on, I can see it right here. My fault. I can actually see
I
it
don't
from
have
here.
it up. I
No,
don't
I
have the
got it. I
betting.
got it. I'm just curious. Um, it was actually Bengals minus 4.5.
Yes. So Bengals minus 4.5. And I think that's pretty safe, given the fact that this is like do or die for the Bengals right now. You're 0-3. You're in the hardest division in football on average. And if you don't win this game and you lose to a bottom feeding team like the Panthers, where do you go from there? You're 0-4. If the Bengals don't win this game, their season could be over before it even begins.
Yeah.
So I'm
Who
I'm
you going
going with
with?
the Bengals. I think it would just I feel like it's just realistic that they're gonna win tomorrow. Like they really need to play like they have some sort of grudge against the
Yeah,
Panthers because
I think Bengals too much talent on offense. I'm pretty sure Higgins is back this week.
Higgins came back
Yeah,
last week actually.
a
He
big
was limited,
yeah,
but
a big game for Jamar Chase. I'm gonna take the Bengals, and
the
the
spread,
4.5. Yeah, I'll even
yeah,
take the
I would
spread.
take that too.
That's
Moving on, we got the Saints visiting the Falcons. Should be a good interdivisional game.
wow, that's gonna be crazy. Saints and Falcons.
Yeah,
Mm, I don't know.
it's in Mercedes Benz, so we're in Atlanta.
Okay, I mean at this point, I feel like we'll learn something about the Saints because they did beat the Panthers bad, and then they beat a Dallas team that we know now is not really that good. So, and then they lost to an Eagles team. I mean, they were in the game. They lost to an
Yeah,
Eagles team, which I also don't think is that good.
that was my pick of the week last week.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't my pick of the week. My pick of the week was very close, but that was the one I was stressing. I thought was for sure going to happen was the Eagles beating the Saints and handing them an L at last. But yeah, I think that's a good game between two interdivision teams because got very above average quarterback play on both sides of the ball, two explosive offenses, and two defenses with something to prove. So, who do you got on that one?
I'm actually going to take. I mean, it's like a pick 'em for me. I'm gonna take the home
Right?
team. Yeah, I'm gonna take the home team. I wouldn't bet the game because I think it's gonna be way too close, but I would take the home team in that game. Alvin Kamara is a little banged up. They're saying
Yep,
he got hip and rear problems.
got that.
Um, I mean, Bijan looks good every time he touches it. I think Kirk Cousins figures it out. Division game at home. I think the Saints aren't as good as that. We thought they were after a couple weeks. I think they take another step back.
Yeah.
Falcons go to 2-2 this week.
I agree. I got Atlanta. They were my pick of the week last week against the Chiefs, and oh my God, was I close.
That was
That was
that
very
was.
down to the wire and close. I was getting too excited in my Pittsburgh hotel room. I was like, man, I'm about to get this pick of the week. And nope, fell right short. But I think this is the week the Falcons win. They just lost to, the defending champs.
Yeah,
But I thought they looked pretty good throughout. I really like their secondary as well. There's a
yeah.
lot
Their
of stars
secondary
in that
solid,
secondary.
solid.
Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons as your two high
You know,
safeties, and AJ
that was my
Terrell at
that
corner.
was
That's
my
insane.
initial that was my initial team on our franchise when we played. So I know
Yeah, in our
I
Madden
know that second.
franchise.
Yeah, I know that secondary real well. So
Yeah,
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 they
no,
all
I got them this week for sure.
Terrell. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna go with them this week.
Yeah. Moving on, we got another interdivisional game. We got the Jaguars and the Texans. Last one we talked about was an NFC South. And this one we're talking about is an AFC South.
I mean,
Who do
it's
you got in this one?
I think it's another one of those games where I really don't know either of these two teams. Um, I don't. I think they're both talented. I I think the Jaguars were in some games, and I don't know, man. I don't know who wins this game. To be honest with you, where is the game?
The game's in Houston.
The
So
game's in
we're at
Houston.
Texans here.
We're at Texans. I mean, only because they're home, I'll take the Texans. I think it's very, very close. But it could go. It all depends on what Jaguars team you get. The Jaguars haven't seemed like they've been clicking this year. They're 0-3. They need a win really bad.
Yeah.
Do they get a win on the road against a division foe? No. I think the line is still too high at -6. I do think it's a field goal game.
Yeah, and what stood out to me here, I actually got a text from Ethan actually, who's a resident Jaguars fan. It was a TikTok of a film breakdown of the Jaguars, and dude, their offensive line has to be the worst thing I have ever seen. There was a play in that TikTok where ETN had an easy walk-in touchdown from 2 yards out, and four of the offensive linemen all fell over on the same side. And there was another clip in there where Cam Robinson, who was a rookie last year, I
Hmm.
believe, was trying to pull block over to the middle. And dude, he was like 2 seconds late. Dude, that offensive line has been so bad. They haven't given Trevor Lawrence any help, and the defense is not what it was at a couple years ago. I got the Texans, and I have them by a margin. The Jaguars have looked abysmal.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing.
I would
I'm gonna go with the
take whatever the Texans spread is. In a home game against a team that's struggling that bad,
yeah. They're
ah,
0-3.
that's a no-brainer to
Yeah,
me.
I'm
This
gonna take
isn't
the
like the
Texans at home.
Bengals where it's a talented team who's 0-3 and is just like chomping at the bit to get their first win. I think this is actually a team who could realistically start 0-4, 5 or 6
All right, moving
before
along.
getting
What
their
do you like?
first win. We got Broncos Jets at MetLife Stadium, man. Aaron Rodgers against, well, a Broncos team that did just get their first win. But
Against a good Buccaneers team, right?
yeah, I had to confirm that one. I'm pretty sure they won. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they blew
Yep, I
the
remember
Bucks
clearly
out.
now.
I
They
mean, the
destroyed the
Bucks,
Bucks.
the Bucks
They
cost me.
destroyed the Bucks.
Um, so I'm going to go with the Jets at home. I
Yeah.
do think the Jets get it done. I think the Jets have a very simplified offense, which helps Aaron Rodgers. They play defense. The offense is simplified. I think they'll win the game.
Yeah,
I do not think they'll cover -7.5. I think that
that's
line is way
a
too
big
high.
line.
I'm looking to see who else is out for.
The Broncos.
Yeah, and I don't see anyone here. Like that's you
Yeah,
know.
I thought you were gonna throw the swerve out there. You were kind of hesitating to drop the pick, and I'm like, is he about to say the Broncos?
No. This won't be a swerve pick. I mean, I think the Jets run the football too well right now. Both of their running backs, they're running the ball too well. I mean, and then Rodgers is still making the plays that he needs to make, which are not many right now because they're running the ball so well. Give me the Jets in a low scoring game. I'm gonna go 24-16, 24-17, something like that.
Yeah, around there seems fair.
Mm.
Even though they had a good week last week, I still think that this Broncos offense is one that is young and is going to struggle against the elite defenses of the NFL. The Jets are inarguably a top three, top seven unit, and they have some great defensive backs, including arguably the best defensive back in the NFL right now, Sauce Gardner. I think they're going to give this offense hell, and man, that 7.5 line, now that I brought it up like that, is starting to actually sound like it could be attainable.
Yeah,
I just think that's a risky bet
so,
to place.
yeah.
Like,
If I
why
had to,
would you place that? The odds probably aren't that
yeah,
amazing on it in the payout.
it's
So
better
I wouldn't
games.
bet on it. I wouldn't
It's
bet
a
on
better
it at
game.
all. But if you pick the money lines of every 1 o'clock game, like some people do, definitely throw the Jets in. They're gonna win this game, no problem.
Yeah, I agree. On the money line bet, the Jets are really a good bet on a money line bet. Let's move right along. Let's not waste any time
Yeah,
with.
we have another NFL North matchup. We got some big divisional games this weekend,
But we
but
got
we got Vikings Packers at 1 o'clock. That's a great game.
give me man, that's gonna be a good game. Oh man, wow, that's
You,
gonna be a good
you
game.
don't even know. I'll start off because I
Yeah,
know
that
for sure
yeah, I don't know for sure.
that Packers defenses look so good this year. They're playing in Lambeau Field, and they're balling right now, even with Malik Willis. If Jordan Love comes back, I don't care. Give me the Sam Darnold Vikings
Wow,
because Sam Darnold is freaking balling right now, bro. Like that has to be the craziest story coming into Week 4, in my opinion. Is the fact that Sam Darnold is legitimately playing like an MVP candidate right now, bro.
wow. He says Sam Darnold. Give me Sam.
Give me
Um,
Sam.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Sam and Lambo. I don't see it. Give me the Packers. I mean, don't take no points though. This could be a 1 point game. This is gonna be
Yeah.
nasty. Again, Packers defense, man. They're coming. They have a point to prove every game. It seems, and they seem like they're making
That
plays. They seem
defense
like they're
has been stout.
they seem like they're making plays. Give me the Packers in this one at home. Yeah, that's it. I don't have much to say about
We
it,
are
but I'm gonna go.
split on that one. You got
Yeah,
Vikings, or
you
I
got
got
Vikings.
Vikings. You got Packers. I think this is Sam's week, and that's one of my upsets of the week because
Sam, I am.
I'm sure at home the Packers are going to be favorited. So I would definitely go with the Vikings as my current upset of the week. Moving on, out of the 4-1-2, it's freaking time, man.
All
The
right. Hey, listen.
Steelers to go 4 and
I'll
0
be
for the first
totally
time
honest with you. The
since
Steelers will
2020.
not. The Steelers will not go 4-0 this week.
Are you gonna do this every week, bro?
No, listen. The Steelers won't go 4-0 this week, and I'm gonna tell you why they won't go 4-0 this week.
Enlighten
I
me.
mean, the Colts at home are it's a pretty dangerous place to play. I think the Steelers come in. So far everything has been clicking, but they're still not scoring a ton of points, which they don't have to because of the defense. What scares me is, and what happens is, Richardson does make some big plays, and if the Steelers get down 14-zip, can you know can Justin Fields make the plays to bring you guys back? There's been some issues at wide receiver. Pickens has been great. I don't know. I'm gonna say my heart tells me, although I love that Steelers defense, my heart tells me I'm gonna go with the Colts. Low, not a high scoring game, about 24. Steelers score about 19-20,
You
but they're playing
make a
from behind.
very
They're
you make a very compelling case. Um, I want to let you know of a quick stat.
okay.
Last season, or not last season, last week, actually, the game I was at, guess how many yards of offense the Chargers gained in the second half of that game?
Second half of that game, how much? 80 yards?
The answer is -5.
Jesus.
The Steelers defense has had an all-time great start of the season. They are leading the NFL in yards allowed to running backs per game and are leading the league in points allowed per game
No, they've been
through three
balling. No,
weeks.
they've been
So
balling.
even if the Colts are able to go up a touchdown or so, as long as Justin Fields just continues to make the throws that he needs to make, he's playing with the patience he needs to play with, and he keeps protecting the ball. And, the offense can stay healthy throughout this game. The offensive line is a little banged up, but if
Right.
the offense can stay at that motor that they played at least last week, I don't like the he'll be back. I don't like the I'll wait for him to come back.
What? What don't you like?
All right. Did you
Okay.
hear everything I
Yeah.
said when you lagged out? All right.
Yep.
I I don't like the Colts' chances is what I was going to say, because the reason being isn't even just I'm going to pick the Steelers to win every game. If there's a game I feel like they're probably going to drop, I'll say it.
Yeah.
But I think, you look at what the pattern is of stopping Anthony Richardson. That's getting pressure on the quarterback. That's, you know, hitting him, forcing him to feel a little uncomfortable and not be able to use that athleticism to create the plays downfield he creates. And even in a home game, the Steelers won their first two games of the season on the road. I think young quarterbacks especially struggle just with that defensive front and the fact that the secondary plays up to the level of the front seven when that pressure is being created. And you still have playmakers like Minka back there. I think Anthony Richardson could be prone to making some mistakes tomorrow, and maybe even TJ Watt gets a strip sack or something.
I can see
But
that
I think for
happening.
sure the Steelers defense is going to continue to roll. And with that being said, I think we do start 4-0, but I don't know how long that could last. But good
Right.
coaching will help you start the season strong. And I think that's going to continue to be a theme here as the Steelers play a plethora of young quarterbacks in their first or second year here to start.
Absolutely. All right. Who you got next?
Moving on, we got the Rams and the Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago. Can the Bears offense finally, please, finally hit their stride? Can we just see a flash of greatness, please?
I, I'll be honest with you. I got the Rams in this
Yeah,
one.
me too.
I got the Rams in this one, and it's also
Dude,
actually, if you're a betting person, this is actually one of my favorite bets that I've seen so far without looking at it extensively. But it was like the Rams are getting like 3.5, which I thought was crazy, but they are. Um, I mean, to me, it's just gonna come down to quarterback play. I just trust Stafford
yeah,
way more than I trust, the rookie. Um, I don't know if what's the name is still out. Let me see if he's still out. Keenan Allen, is he still out?
I believe he's predicted to return this week.
Okay, well that could be a difference, but I don't know if that'll even be enough. I'll be totally honest with you. I'm gonna go with the Rams here. Um, even a banged up Rams team, I still think gets this done.
Yeah, even in Chicago, I got the Bears declining to 1-3. I got the Rams improving to 2-2. Kyron Williams has been running the ball very well. Matthew Stafford is a playmaker. He has what it takes to win on the road against decent teams like the Bears. at least on paper. And the special teams magic can't strike every week if you're the Chicago
Yeah,
Bears. You need your
it can't happen every week.
playmakers and your rookie quarterback, who I'm not even trying to be biased or blow anything up, is one of the best college quarterbacks I've watched in my lifetime in terms of arm talent and seeing the field and just making those big time quarterback plays. I haven't seen that from Caleb Williams in the NFL, and I haven't even seen the flashes that he showed during the preseason. I want to see Caleb Williams come into what we know he can be, you know, have some help from his offense, and I want to see big days from DJ Moore. And I want to see DeAndre Swift finally start running the ball well. I want to see things start
Yeah,
coming
they look.
together.
I mean, they don't.
But right now, it just doesn't look like it's the time for that to happen. I got the Rams.
Yeah, I got the Rams too. I don't even need to talk about that no more. I got the Rams.
Yeah, give me the Rams.
Who you got
Moving on,
next?
we got the Eagles and the Buccaneers
Eagles and Buccaneers. Okay, this week
in
I'm
Tampa
actually
Bay.
in Tampa Bay. I do think Tampa Bay is going to be pissed off about being embarrassed last week. I don't know if I don't know if AJ Brown is playing. Devonta Smith had a concussion.
AJ
That's our
Brown, I believe, is doubtful for Sunday.
right, and Smith had a concussion. If neither one of those two guys play, I don't know. But the beauty of it is with Saquon now is actually the strength of our team. And believe it or not, some wide receivers being out will actually help us because when we just run the ball straight, we look really well.
Hmm.
I'm honestly going to lean towards the Eagles on this one.
Yeah,
I
I
think the
mean,
E- I think the Eagles go to 3-1, knocking the Bucks down to 2-2. Two tough home losses for the Bucks back to back. I'm not sure something was going. Vita Vea's out
Vita
with the
Vea
knee
is out.
injury.
That was a devastating one for their defense.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think a close game. I'll go Eagles 28, Bucks 21.
Yeah, I like that pick. I mean, you're not a homer at all. You picked the Eagles to lose multiple times already this
Yeah,
season.
absolutely.
I actually was arguing against you advocating for the Eagles last week on this show. So, I'm happy to see you pick them here. But now I have to argue you as to why the Buccaneers are going to win this game. And
Right.
that
Which they
is,
can.
you some of the points you mentioned. The offense is banged up for Philly. Saquon is going to be keyed in more by those great linebackers, Levante David, that crew. The front seven's going to narrow in on him. Even with Vita Vea out, that's a strong front seven unit. And Tampa Bay's a very well coached defense. Todd Bowles was their defensive coordinator, now their head coach. That's a very disciplined defensive team. And with a banged up offense and the fact that Philly themselves is actually bottom five in the NFL right now in terms of a ranked passing defense, I think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin can really have their way with the secondary. And you don't know who Slay is going to be tagging up, but I'm sure he'll be moving around throughout the game. And when Slay is not on your wide receiver, whether it be Godwin or Evans, you need to target the other one. And you just need to keep him out of the game. And that is the recipe for continuing to beat the Eagles' pass defense. With the fact that I don't think the Eagles will be able to catch up with how explosive of an offense Tampa Bay's looked like this season. I'm gonna take the Bucks.
Got a score?
Uh, yeah, I'll give you a score on that one. I think it's going to be the Eagles have been losing real ugly this season. We're seeing way more field goals and stuff. We've been having way wilder scores. I'm going to go 23-16.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Bucks over
Something.
Eagles. 23-16.
What you got next?
We're going to go with a cross conference matchup. We got the 49ers and the Patriots all the way on the West Coast. So this one's really taking place at 1 p.m., but not in our time zone.
Yeah, that's wild. So yeah, I mean that's basically a 10 a.m. game. Basically a
No,
10.
no, 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 no. The game's at 4 o'clock here.
Okay, all right.
It's starting at 1 o'clock back in their time.
Oh, got you, got you. All right. I was about to say that's a 10 a.m. game then. All right. Um, Either way, you're just gonna give me the 49ers at home.
Yeah.
Can't really
So
see them
that's kind
losing
of
losing this game.
that's kind of why I introduced it like that, because you have a young team like the Patriots who have been struggling to string together wins, partially in the fact that they have a very young team, and first year head coach Gerard Mayo. It's just going to take some time to get acclimated, and now that we're playing some really competitive teams, even from the NFC, the 49ers, like in San Francisco, that's a young team that has to travel and play in a time zone that they probably aren't too used to.
Yeah, I
That type
mean,
of stuff adds up in terms of your preparation throughout the week. And we've seen traveling teams who have to travel longer distances throughout the year, struggle, to catch their rhythm at times. And
yeah,
I think that's going to be a case here. I think the
yeah.
49ers
And no
rock
need
them
to win.
this
No
week.
need to waste a bunch of time on this one. I think
Yeah.
49ers by double digits. I mean, they run the ball too well.
The 49ers are going to rock them this week.
Yeah,
We got Washington versus the Cardinals this week.
Washington Cardinals.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Washington just exploded in prime time.
Give me the Cardinals at home. Cardinals at home.
Yeah,
I mean, as impressive as Jalen as Daniels is, I mean, Kyler Murray is still one of them dudes. So let's not get it twisted. Once again, he's found his favorite receiver, and Washington's defense, you can score on them, right?
yeah,
People are putting up numbers. People are putting up numbers on them. I don't think that Kyler Murray won't put up numbers on them. Great job getting that win last week, Washington. It was cool. But again, it was against an 0-2 team. So although we look at the Bengals like they're the Bengals of the past, it's an 0-2 team.
no, that's fair.
Give me the Cardinals. Cardinals have played a tough schedule too. A lot of people are not really putting that in
Correct.
consideration. They've had a really tough schedule. And, you know, that's why they're 1-2 right now. But don't get it twisted. That could easily have been 3-0.
Yeah,
I'm
the
gonna take the
Cardinals.
Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals here. Um, that's it. I don't really like the 3.5 line, but I'll take the Cardinals. I still think it could be a very close game. Give me the
Yeah,
Cardinals.
for some reason, half of me saying pick Washington and the other half of me saying pick the Cardinals.
Mhm.
I don't know why I have such a strong faith in Jane Daniels to win games for the Commanders. I really think they can get to 6 or 7 wins this year. But you know, I for the reasons you said, the Cardinals started off really strong in terms of their strength of schedule, and now they kind of get to play a worse team than what they've been playing. I want to see big days from James Conner, and Marvin Harrison Jr. has been killing it. Michael Wilson actually even just got 10 targets in their last game.
Yeah, they're gonna be
Um,
good. I
that's a
mean, they're gonna
very
be
good
good.
unit, and as you said, they should be 3-0 right now, and they're not.
Right.
I got the Cardinals riding the ship here. I think they go 2-2.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on.
Moving on, we have an AFC West matchup. We're staying on tune with these divisional matchups.
Who do we got?
Chiefs visiting the Chargers at SoFi.
I mean, anytime the Chiefs is there, man, you gotta go Chiefs, right? It's just they figure out a way to get the game. They figure out a way to win football games,
Yeah,
right? We can say what we want about the Chiefs, but they figure out ways to win football games. Um, the quarterback might be banged up. I'm hearing.
yep. So let me give you a rundown kind of on their injury report, because they do have J.K. Dobbins in. He's been able to stay healthy, but they're all pro worthy looking left tackle Joe Alt is now potentially out for a very long time. They just lost. He's a rookie, and he's looking amazing this year. But Joe Alt is out, and um, Justin Herbert is in question for this Sunday as well. So
Yeah,
it could be
I
Taylor
mean,
Heineke at the helm.
Joey Bosa's out.
Uh,
Um,
Derwin
Joe
James
Walton's
is
out.
suspended. Derwin James got suspended for a helmet to helmet hit in the Steelers game, so he's also out.
Yeah, give me the Chiefs. I'm moving on from
The
that.
Chargers are
Give me
too
the
banged
Chiefs.
up. Let's pick the Chiefs. prove it and move it.
Give me the Chiefs.
Chiefs probably 24-18 and like an awkward Chiefs win.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you
Give me
know,
the Chiefs. Yeah.
Chiefs, Chiefs money line. We got Browns and Raiders in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's a
Give me
terrible
whoever's
game.
playing the Browns.
I don't know. I mean, the Raiders last week showed no effort. I think their coach got on their ass. I think they figured some things out just because he's the kind of guy that I don't think is going to let them come out and play with no effort 2 weeks in a row. Give me the Raiders for that reason. Give me the Raiders.
Yeah, I got the Raiders as well. Max Crosby's really going to start getting very dirty on some of these offensive lines. Like, he's bound to have just a game wrecking day again. Last week was not anything of what we've seen from the Raiders thus far. We saw Brock Bowers have a slow day. We saw Devontae Adams kind of have a very mediocre day. And Jacoby Myers, they have some good talent there. Like
Yeah.
Brock Bowers, like I said, the thing I want to see here is getting Zamir White involved. He was touted as a very good running back heading into the season, and I haven't seen anything of what I thought I was going to see from Zamir White yet.
Yeah.
Trey Tucker from Las Vegas just had 10 targets last week. Like, I want to see some of these guys. I want to see them establish an identity on offense. And I haven't seen that yet from the Raiders, but I've seen flashes. And what I've seen from Cleveland so far is horrible. And everything I told you from week 1, 2, and 3, total bottom feeders in this league.
Yeah,
I
I
got
agree.
the Raiders.
I'll take Raiders too. We'll move on from there.
Move on. We got, in my opinion, the game of the
Okay.
week. We got the Bills of Buffalo, New York, visiting the Ravens of Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh yeah.
That's a banger game.
I don't think it's that much of a banger game, to be honest with you. Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens.
That's bold,
Yeah.
man. You
No, I
know,
mean, I'll be
the
honest
Bills
with
have
you.
been rolling. The Bills just steamrolled 41-17.
Who they play?
The Jags.
And who they play before that?
The goddamn who did
Well,
they play before
their
that?
toughest game has been the Cardinals
The
this year.
Dolphins. They played
Right.
the Dolphins. In the game Tua got
Right.
hurt.
On a Thursday night, their toughest game this year has been the Cardinals. In a
Yeah.
game that the Cardinals basically gave away. In a game that the Cardinals gave them back.
Yeah, the
Right?
Cardinals
So
beat themselves in that one. You make a good point.
let's be honest here. No matter how great they're looking, you bring that Ravens defense in, Ravens are gonna run the fuck out the ball. And no matter how it's hard, when you don't, Lamar is a different animal, bro.
Yeah,
His
Lamar.
passing. Again, you could talk about his passing, but would you have to account for with his feet? Honestly, I don't see the Ravens going to 1-3 here. I just don't see it. I think Buffalo takes a step back this week. I think Ravens do what they always do: jump out to an early lead and then start to blow it, but eventually figure out how to get a 3-point win. Give me the Ravens 24-20.
That's a very, very good pick.
Yeah, I
Um,
like the Ravens.
I was gonna take a path that was less about slandering the Bills' strength of schedule and more about just praising the Ravens and how their offense finally came together, like I've been begging for it too lately. I mentioned I want to see Derrick Henry used in ways that we don't know Derrick Henry is going to be used, and that defenses don't know that Derrick Henry is going to be used. And I wanted to see Henry and Lamar's run game complement each other more because that's what we know it has the potential to do.
It's gonna take a little time.
So, yeah, it took a little time because, it's a lot of talent to mesh together. But I think we finally saw a glimpse of what it could be. They got Derrick Henry involved on screen passes. They got Derrick Henry running downhill. They got him running outside the numbers, outside the tackles. I loved what I saw from their offense last week. Even though it was against the bad Cowboys defense that we were talking
Mm.
about in week 2, I'm sorry, in week 3, the Ravens have looked very good. And even though the Bills have been steamrolling the past couple of weeks, their defense has looked very good. I think this is finally the week. I agree with you. The Ravens aren't going to drop to 1-3. This is the week they hand Buffalo their first
Yeah,
loss, in my opinion,
Buffalo get a
of the
loss.
season. My opinion
Buffalo get a
of the
loss.
season.
Yeah, we'll move on from
And
that.
I'm going to match your score on that. I like 24
Yeah,
20. I got it a little higher. I'm going to go 28-24,
yeah.
though. I like the 4 point
They'll
difference
jump
on that.
out. They'll jump out Ravens, and then Josh Allen will do some magical shit. And try
That
and
could be
bring.
a 27-24, 28-24. That's around my range for it.
I agree.
Moving on, we got the first of the Monday doubleheader. At 7:30 p.m., we have the Titans of Tennessee, your favorite place, visiting the Dolphins of Miami.
This is nasty work
Tyler Huntley is starting
for who?
tomorrow. Oh, man. Do we even give takes on this game?
I don't
Tyreek
know.
Hill and Jalen Waddle have been non-existing pretty much since Tua's been
I
out.
don't have.
That offense looks
I
like
don't
in its
have.
yeah.
I don't have anything for it.
That
Um,
the Dolphins offense looks like it's a shell right now.
Give me Miami at home. They're home. That's the only analysis I've got. They're home.
Yeah,
Tyler Tyler Huntley. Maybe he's not that bad. Maybe he get a couple deep passes to Tyreek. Maybe um, Devon A. Chain get off. Just give me them at home.
yeah.
No
The
specific
Titans,
reason.
the Titans are the only team that you could even look at right now as being honestly as bad as the Panthers, and like
Yeah.
even with the Tua injury and how awful and just like no energy, like looking dead offense of the Dolphins lately, they still have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Devon A. Chain, as you mentioned, and a
Yeah.
pretty stout defense. I got the Dolphins. I
Yeah. I'll
got the
take the
Dolphins as
Dolphins in
well.
that
As
one.
you mentioned, they're at home. They're in Hard Rock. I think they have no reason not to get it done.
Yeah.
So we can move on to our final game of the week. We got the undefeated Seattle Seahawks going to Ford Field to play the Motor City Machine Gun Lions.
This is a tough game right here.
This might be the game of the week.
I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna go. I gotta go Lions at home here.
I
Gotta
do
go
too.
Lions at home. I trust their play calling. I trust Jared Goff to get it done at home. Um,
I do as
ag-
well.
Again, the Seahawks are a tough team. They've also had a favorable schedule as well, leading up into this point.
True.
Right? They've had a favorable schedule. I think they run into one of the better teams in the NFC, and I do not think that they get it done this week. Give me the Detroit Lions at home to cover that, to cover and to win. I think they win the game by probably about 6, 7.
I would have to agree with that. Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery are the league's best running back duo. Um, the Lions' offensive passing attack is equally as dangerous, in my opinion. The Lions are still clearly that team um, that we saw last year, but now I feel like they're just so much more mature than they were last year. Like, this is a Lions team that feels like they are solidified at the top of the NFL mountain right now, and not a Lions team that like we're kind of still holding our breath on, if that makes
Right.
sense. Like, are they really this good? Like, we know they're that good now. And now they go out and try to destroy teams and try to batter teams. They don't come out and hope to win anymore. The Lions
No.
go out to kill now. And, at home, I think this is going to be a really high energy game. And I think the Lions defense feeds off the crowd in a similar way that a lot of the top teams are able to. And I think we just see another mature Lions win where they dominate the time of possession. They
Run,
get the
run,
ball to
run,
those
play
running
action.
backs. They
Yeah.
get those guys in space. They ran a hook and ladder to Jameer Gibbs last week
Yeah.
for a
They'll
touchdown.
run.
I was like holding my breath. I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me? We're watching the Lions toy with people now." In 2024, we're watching the Detroit Lions freaking maul people and absolutely school them on the field. Like,
Yeah,
this is
let's get to
insane.
yeah, we going to let's give it to the Lions. They look really good.
I got
They're a solid ball.
Lions.
I
I
got the
got
Lions
Lions
too.
20, Lions 29, Seahawks 24.
All right, and we'll give you guys
Our
our
top
power
five.
our power fives we'll have for you guys.
We got the Power
Um,
Five. I like the name
the
for it.
power five we'll have for you guys um later on. I'm still not sure about my power five yet. I still have some question marks there. There might be
Mine
some
was
like a
very hard. I already thought of mine.
there might be
Mine
like
was
a
very
tie somewhere in
mine
there.
was very hard to configure and put
I
together.
think I'll
You
have
know,
more answers though. Like after this week, it'll be more definitive. It'll be
I
like, okay,
agree.
right, because now you have the Bills actually going to play somebody. Now, if the Bills actually come out and go beat the shit out the Ravens or beat the Ravens, period, you're now looking at they, legitimately can't move out that five, and they might have to even be one or two. I mean, I don't see the Chiefs losing this week, which everybody just downplays the Chiefs, but I mean, defending champs without a loss, if they're not in
Right,
your power five, I mean,
right.
it's just what are we talking about? Why have a power five? I mean, you have an undefeated
You
Pittsburgh team
know,
who can probably go in there more than likely and beat the Colts. How would you be able to keep them out the power five, right? And then, you know, my team can sneak back in with a win on the road at Tampa. I think they, but even then, could you put them in front of Detroit? So it's too many moving pieces for me right now. I gotta
yeah.
evaluate it. I gotta
Mine was
evaluate.
rough last week because I was just riding too high off of the success of the NFC South to open the year. Like, I had Tampa and New Orleans in my top five this week, and this week I'm not feeling any of those things about them for my Power Five.
Well,
So I still think Tampa is there in that talent range, but when you drop a game, that really changes how, this is a momentum ranking. This
right,
isn't who we're
right.
saying are the best teams.
It's
This
not
is
a
the Power Five. That's a momentum ranking.
right.
So when you have a team like that who drops a game, it's kind of hard. They lost a lot of momentum with that loss, especially such a big one to the Broncos. And the Saints kind of just, I feel like their magic fizzled out already. I feel like they're just
So
kind
there
of
are some
back.
teams I don't worry about as far as dropping games, and then there's some I do. So, like for instance, the Steelers I don't worry about that much because I feel like they're going to play the same style of football whether they win or
Right.
lose.
There's a
Like they
lot of
don't
continuity.
right. They don't have identity problems. You have some teams that have identity problems. So when they drop a game here and there, and he's like, "Well, who the hell was that?" Like
Hmm.
that didn't look like the team that we just seen. And to be perfectly honest with you, maybe it's just a fluke, but when the Broncos came in there and just kicked their ass, it didn't look like the team that I was seeing.
Right.
So
Yeah. They fell out of
Mhm.
my Power Five
right.
because of that
It
loss.
didn't look like the team that
But
I was seeing.
I
So
guess we'll get started on my Power Five. At number one, we have, as you mentioned, the defending champions who have been at my number one spot since the beginning of the year and haven't left. That's because they haven't lost and they keep getting in the end zone in different ways. They're getting different guys in the end zone.
correct. I mean,
They're playing stout defense, creating turnovers. This is still the same Chiefs team.
right.
They're my number one. At number two, I had them pretty high up last week. And now, because this is a momentum ranking, I need to have them here at number two. This spot belongs to the Buffalo
Yeah,
Bills
rightfully so.
because they
Rightfully
have
so.
been steamrolling, and when you're winning games
Oh
that
yeah.
dominantly, no matter who you're playing, you're there. At
Yeah, that's
number three,
self-explanatory.
I have the guys who snuck into the Power Five last week, but have re-solidified themselves, in my opinion, as a juggernaut. I got the Lions in at number three. At number four, reasons you mentioned, honestly, too. I was gonna put them at five. I kind of made a little edit, but I gotta put my Steelers at four
Yeah.
right now. They're just the defense is so dominant. It just seems
Yeah,
impossible
and,
to beat them
I mean
right now.
and they're undefeated, and again they could
They're undefeated, and
and
this
have a
is a
great chance
momentum
of
ranking.
being 4-0.
And, at number five, because of the fact that they haven't played the Lions yet, they are still undefeated, though, and I had them in last week, so they kind of remain in my Power Five heading into the week. That's the Seattle
Yeah,
Seahawks at 3-0.
that's cool.
So that rounds out my Power Five. I
Yeah.
originally had Seattle 4, Pittsburgh 5, but my finalized edition of it for the Power 5 this week would be Kansas City at 1. Um, who did I put at 2?
You
I
put
had put
Kansas City,
Buffalo at 2.
Buffalo at 2.
Um,
3 you had
3 I had. Why am I
Lions.
blanking, man? Yep, I
Lions.
had Detroit at 3, Pittsburgh at 4, Seattle at 5 this
Yeah.
week.
That's solid. I still got to look over some things to give you a good analysis, but a lot. I mean, put it this way: three of those teams are undefeated, so they're going to be in my top five at some form of fashion. Just the
Right.
last two spots. What do I value more? Do I value the eye test more? Do I value past, things I've seen from the team more? So that's basically how those last two spots would go. But I mean, quite simple and plain. You're gonna have Buffalo, KC, Buffalo. You're gonna have Pittsburgh in there. You're gonna have Seattle in there, who's also undefeated.
Right.
And then that last spot is basically for me. Um, what's Detroit 2-1?
Yep. 2-1.
It's just I don't know who's the better 2-1 team right now. Like that would be the problem for me. The eye test tells me that I think Detroit is better than Philly. I think Detroit's better than Philly. The eye test tells me right now I think Detroit is better than Dallas and San Francisco as well. Right now, today,
I would still have
right,
Tampa Bay over those two teams.
right. So I don't have Tampa Bay over those two
I'd have
teams.
them over Dallas. Maybe not San Fran as of right now, but
Yeah,
Dallas has looked awful, man.
they have looked awful. So that's probably how it round out for me. It'll be somewhere around there.
So we
But
had the same
also
five
it, kind of because I'll be honest with you, I
in
I
a
think
different
I'm gonna
order, but we had the same five.
no, I think I'm gonna go Vikings for my fifth.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go Vikings
ooh,
for my fifth.
that's
Vikings.
a spicy addition to that. Like
Listen, Vikings is 3-0. Not only did they beat San Francisco, they ran on them and beat their ass the way
yeah,
that San Francisco plays
they did.
in
You picked
in
my boy Sam.
in, in San Francisco. So I feel like they have a really impressive win. They're 3-0.
Sam, I
If
am.
they go
Sam, I
get
am.
a and listen, if they go get a win in motherfucking Lambeau, put them on notice. So that's my five
Sam,
right
I
now.
am.
My five is all undefeated teams right now.
Fair,
Simple and plain.
fair.
They ain't got no losses. To beat a man, you got to beat the man. To quote Ric Flair, the great Ric Flair, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. So if you undefeated, yeah, exactly. If you undefeated, you in the top five. Do me a favor if you haven't done it yet. I'm on episode 6 already. If you haven't watched that Vince McMahon documentary, must
That's
see
a good
television.
shout.
Must see television, bro. Even if you don't watch wrestling, watch that documentary. That shit is inspiring, man. And
Bro, kind of cut out
yeah,
there.
somebody was calling my phone, bothering me, but we got um um some other people calling in. And also, if you watch the show and you feel like you want to call in, call in and kick it with us, and you
Yeah,
can give a little bit of analysis and tell us how you feel about this week. And
exactly, man. I'm trying to make this more interactive. So,
yeah, I'll also text you in a little while and see what picks you like for betting because I need to bet tomorrow too. So,
yeah, yeah,
all
bro.
right.
Yeah,
So
player. All
another
right.
great show, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. We'll be back next week.
Yes, sir.
Will that be